Hey, this is your Made Free Life podcast with your host, Shawn Boone, where we have weekly conversations about faith, freedom, and adventure. Well, we're finally here.
We're here. We've arrived.
It's been a long process, but we are now starting episode 1, week 1, season 1, and we're going to call it Seasons. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Shawn Boone, and this is my good friend Travis Buchanan.
Here I am.
And he is my guest today, and we are starting what we call the Made Free Life podcast, where we have weekly conversations about faith, freedom, and adventure. So seasons, what would we like to talk about when we talk
It's
about?
been a hot season.
Yeah.
It's August in Florida, so
Yes.
how about pressure?
Pressure, heat.
And so
I feel like you don't really get to talk about that now. Oh, wait a minute. You do the, for those of you who don't know, Travis, shameless plug, has City Walk bounce houses and inflatables.
you got it wrong.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay, because of the church.
Please don't contact City Walk Bounce House.
All right. What is it then? Use your own shameless plug. What is it?
It's Spacewalk.
Spacewalk. Look, he said
Yeah.
no, and then he goes, Spacewalk.
It's
He leaned in,
Spacewalk.
Spacewalk. But I have helped you, and it is gnarly. I'm not going to lie. In fact, I think that's the only time I almost passed out this year was not on a roof, but helping you roll it up.
Yeah, well, it's grown man work.
It
That's
is.
what we do.
Yeah.
I'm tri-vocational. I'm just trying to get it down to one job. I pastor
Tri-vocational.
Yeah, I'm tri-vocational. I'm just trying
I
to
used
get,
to say that.
I'm just trying to get good at one. That's all I need.
I used to say that when I pastored and worked at Zaxby's and went to college, Bible college. I was tri-vocational.
Yeah, one good thing about it is it allows me to get in the community.
Yeah.
Friday, I met a wonderful couple that had moved up here from Miami. Was able to pray for them.
Yeah.
Able to pray for their business, that God's favor would continue to follow them and open up doors of opportunity.
Nice.
And so, as a pastor that is bivocational, I'm able to at least get out in my community, get amongst the, my neighbor and love my neighbor and connect with them and provide the best babysitter for a weekend that they'll ever find, which the water slides and bounce houses and stuff like that.
That is a fact.
They love it. They wear themselves out, and I come back Monday and roll them up, pick them up, and repeat the process.
So you call it you're taking away the fun on Monday, right? We roll it out on Friday.
Yeah, I'm a fun repo guy.
You're a fun repo guy.
They teach you in training, like whatever you do.
Yeah.
Like when you get there Monday, everybody celebrates you on Friday because you're dropping it off. They're
You're a superhero on Friday.
Superhero. But when you show up Monday,
oh man,
and they're like, one more time. You just gotta walk.
You just
over
unplug it on them.
You fix your face like Flint, and you walk over there.
Let me see the face. Yeah. And so you go over there, and what do you do if their kids are on it? You just unplug it?
Well, you give them a warning shot.
You do. You say a warning shot. What's a warning shot? Like you unplug one
get
fan?
Out. Yeah, get out. Like I'm rolling
so the big ones have 2 blowers. You just unhook, and they start to feel it collapse.
Yeah, so they teach you. Like I had a wonderful instructor where, because we're part of a franchise, and he said, whatever you do, he's like, whatever you do.
Commit.
He goes, I don't care how much they're crying. One more time. He's like, don't ever, and I mean don't ever plug it back in. He goes, because if you blow it back up, you'll have to crawl in there and throw them out of it.
You'll never get it
You'll never get it back. So we're unapologetically repoing the front fun on Mondays. There is no more one more time. You've been one more time and all weekend. And so it's
but I love what you said about the babysitter, because I know that when I've gotten them from you for parties and stuff, you don't even have to watch your kids, man. You got to just peek out.
You don't do that anyway.
I don't do it anyway, but you just peek your head out a little bit and be like, are they drowning? Are they fighting? Is the unit still, upright? And if it is, and it's all systems go, you get to go back to just doing whatever you want to do. But
what season are you in?
Season, I would say the season is rebuilding.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff, relationships. I think rebuilding a new life since I transitioned back to Lake City, being down in Marin Island and Titusville area for the last few years. So just not that I haven't been here before and lived here, which makes it a little easier, but still, getting acclimated to that. You guys are Mayberry. We're moving fast down there. So,
listen, I've got a bullet in my pocket, buddy. I ain't scared to use it.
So just getting acclimated to that, and then just new opportunities, and like this, the podcast. We've been talking about this for at least 2 years, I think. I think we've been dreaming about it for 2 years.
Yeah. Having conversations of faith, freedom, and adventure. Because this is what I know, that our relationship with Christ. There's no greater adventure than that, man.
Yeah.
It's to go on this journey to where we're at in this place and space, and looking back at where we were.
Yeah.
And this really is exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask or think.
It's been a wild ride. It's like Mr. Toad's wild ride.
Yeah.
When I think about my relationship with God and the highs and the lows, it's been a wild ride. But one thing I can say is that He's faithful.
Oh, yeah.
And even through all of the hardest moments, the darkest spaces and places, man, God has been the one thing that never changes. Yeah. People change, situations change, seasons change. But He does it, and that's what's amazing about. And then the adventure, like you said, I think, I love adventure. I think men were wired for that.
Absolutely. Masculine soul.
That's right. So we
will
don't
hunger and thirst for it.
That's right. Like, we're not going to be like the women that are okay with just sitting around.
They're not okay with sitting around.
Yeah,
you just lost all your. You just lost all your.
If they got a credit card, they're okay with sitting in front of a computer and ordering lady things. I've seen them do that for hours upon
all the
hours.
ladies that were checked in. It's been a wild ride. It only took one episode for Shawn to crash.
Okay, let me. Okay, hold on to my female audience.
Yeah.
All right, let me just preface it by saying
that
this.
was one of the longer lasting relationships.
Some females like adventure. Okay, it's hard for females to keep up with me. Like I'm like very active.
Listen,
so
you don't run that fast.
No, but I'm always moving.
How about episode 2? Let's time Shawn in the 40-yard dash to see how.
I think I would run it in a 7 right now.
Yeah, me too.
I think, which I don't think is bad for a 50-year-old dude.
Nah, not too bad.
It depends if there was lights behind me. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. I might run a little quicker. But no, seasons, man. I think one thing about them is they're inevitable. They're coming, and I think a lot of times for us, me speaking in general, like we tend to want to hold on to a season in the past, whether that be a season where we had a relationship, or we had maybe an adventure. I like to think about surf trips and things I've been on, and if you're not careful, you'll become frustrated in why this season don't look like that season, or you'll try to make. I don't know if you do this, but you try to almost make that season fit in the season you're in, and I think that's one of the things I'm learning and growing in, is just learning to quit trying to live in a past season, whether that's mentally or you're really trying to make those moving parts fit, and learning that seasons do have an expiration date, just like as we're coming out of summer soon.
Yeah,
hopefully,
absolutely.
And moving into fall where it's cooler.
Praise
Come on,
God,
somebody.
please.
That we can't make it fit. It's designed to be that way.
Yeah. Well, here's the good news. It's like the constant variable is that change is inevitable. And so here's the good news. If you're in a bad season right now, can I just say this by faith? This too shall pass.
Yeah.
And so whether it's a great season or a rough season, it's a valley moment or a mountaintop moment, seasons change, and you got to be able to be led and shepherded in such a way that you're not trying to experience a summer season in a fall present reality. And it comes back to trusting God. Yeah. It's a lot of times when we do revert back to the past, or we do try to imitate or emulate this past season, if we get down to the root of it, is because we really don't believe and trust that God can provide an exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask or think, experience in our present season. And so a lot of times we put God in a box because we're not looking to where we're at or where He's wanting to take us. We're looking back to what He did in our past, and we can become paralyzed or imprisoned to the thing, good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a great season, and the last thing I want to do is be that guy that talks about, you remember that year back in 1972?
And we do that as guys, dude.
Yeah, and
we
it's
want
like,
to live in
and
the
we call
glory
it,
years,
yeah, the good
glory,
old days,
or the good old days,
the good old days, and it's like,
or
no,
back in
what
the
about
day,
yeah,
you hear old
what
timers
about
say.
the good days that we have right now? Like today is the day the Lord has, and I'm gonna rejoice.
Yeah, let me piggyback on that. I think that's a great point, Travis. Because as men, I think we're the worst at it. We love that. The glory days, we love to relive, or we love to tell back in my day kind of thing. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that, like you said, it's okay to reflect and remember and even celebrate those moments and memorials and things. But I think it's about the moment that we're living in now. And I think if I was to say anything to anybody out there today is that be present in the season you're in. Be present in the moment you're in. Be present now. Because it's so easy for us to get distracted, and for us to be living. And when I get over there, or when the kids get out of school, or when we retire, and we're always looking ahead to another season. And I know in my own life, man, like I've missed some of the beauty and some of the most beautiful lessons and blessings in my life simply because I'm looking at another season. I'm already, the way my mind works anyway, I'm like either sleeping or I'm moving 100 mile an hour anyway. So for my personality and the way I'm wired, I have to really consciously slow down and let myself, understand that, this is where I'm at right now and I need to be present here, whether it's in a relationship with a person, it's family, it's, an actual geographical place. I remember times where I wanted to be back home when I was here, and God had me doing a work here, but I kept thinking about, oh man, if I could just find a way to get back down to where I'm from. And so I think those are things that as we grow and as we mature and as we've experienced a lot of life, that we begin to see that, hey man, what's really important right now, today, what's important is me and you having breakfast, doing this podcast, dealing with our crap, talking about life, and and being present in this moment.
Yeah, it's amazing the season or the moments that we complain about today, especially like if you're a parent out there. Teenage years can be kind of rough. Adult years can be rough.
Adulting sucks.
But this is what the Lord has shown me, that the moments that I complain about in my parenting, as far as my children growing up, within 20 years, you'll wish you were back there.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The truth.
And so here's something to think about stewarding moments in your today, is know that in 20 years, Lord willing, you'll look back and you'll give anything to be in the season that you're in.
Yeah.
You'll miss those kids, and so I always try to think with the end in mind. Okay, like this might be frustrating because my kid is not listening to me, not cleaning their room, not doing what I need them to do, getting attitude, leaving their stuff on the floor. But in 20 years, can I tell
you'd trade anything to go back.
I'd give anything to experience. And so, like mentally, emotionally, if you can take your thoughts to that place in space 20 years from now, it'll help you see the value and the treasure in the dirty clothes that are on the bathroom floor, or the dishes that are in the sink. Because there's coming a time you'll look back and go, what, that was a greater season than I realized when I was in it. And so it helps. It helps steward.
You having Taylor newly married and moved out. Yeah. So looking at that, and I myself have kids that are grown and gone off. I got one that's 19 living with me, and I'm grateful for that. And I know it's a short season. He'll be married and moved out before long, and I'll look back on those times where me and him laid around in the living room, watched football, and cracked on each other and made jokes and roasted each other. Those are the moments that like you said, we'll be looking back, going, man, I wish I was in. So not all of those things are bad. I think it's just recognizing, but being open to what God is doing in your life in that season, because if not, again, going back to what I said earlier, you really will miss it. Because the art of distraction is everywhere. Whether it's the enemy of our soul, it's the world, it's it can be good things. We could be so distracted with good things that are out of balance, and there's no rhythm in our life that before we know it, man, where's the time? Because one thing,
It's already August.
Yeah, it's already August, and I haven't been on a surf trip, and like that's bothering me. Like, where
kids start school
has
tomorrow.
the time gone? I need to be in a subtropic area.
Oh, you're in a subtropic.
Well, I need to be more surrounded in water right now.
You need
on
a
a
glass
surfboard,
of water. I'll get
on a
you some water.
surfboard, looking in the horizon when it's about 6 to 8 foot. That's where I need to be. Or on a boat when it's not hot, and we move into a little bit of cooler weather. So that we can fish, because it's too hot to fish.
It is.
Mark Chestnut said too hot for golf.
And too hot for golf.
But it's
too cold.
Too cold at home. All right.
Yeah, we're out here.
Yeah, I think so, man. So I think that this is a great start. I think we're going to continue talking about seasons. What does it look like for you out there, the season you're in? How are you embracing it? What are the challenges in the season that you're in? We all have challenges. Every season comes with its own set of challenges. Like I was telling you this morning, I think, what's great about seasons is so many things can be like this. It's an entrepreneur thing. It's a new thing, so we get the new car smell. But then with that comes some other challenges that, it's never without challenges. I think that
every season has two components to it. Every season there's strength and there's a struggle. And if you're not careful, all you'll focus on is the struggle of your season, and all you can see is the strength of someone else's season.
Social media, it's a lure. It's like the highlight reels of somebody else's life makes you feel like your life.
And so let me just say this, the strength that maybe you're observing in someone else's season came from the struggle of the previous.
That's good, man.
And so no matter what season that you're in, maybe it's a season that's really strong for you. You're really good. Or it could be a season that you're struggling. Just know that God uses all of that. Like, we gain strength in our struggle so that we're prepared for the season that God is going to lead us into. He's going to prepare us as he leads us. And so at the end of the day, just know that there are strengths and there are struggles in every season, and God uses both of them. Maybe it's to inspire someone else.
That'll preach, man.
Maybe it's to encourage, or to maybe you're looking at something that you didn't think was possible, and you're looking at it in someone else's life, and you know what? God's birthing a desire. There's an explosion of inspiration that's coming out of seeing somebody walk in victory in another season. But can I tell you that they probably walked in a little bit of a struggle to gain the strength to be able to experience what they're experiencing in this one. And so every season, two components, strengths and struggles, and God uses both of them.
I like to say it this way, your struggles and things sometimes is a handbook for somebody else to survive, looking in at your life and like you said, life and struggles of somebody else that you draw strength from. A lot of times on my social media, for those of you that know and those of you that don't, I lost a son 24 months ago. He was murdered. And, a lot of people will say, Shawn, I'm inspired by your strength. I'm inspired by your willingness to continue and to continue to encourage people in spite of what I've lost. And so I think that, that sometimes your life is a handbook for others to survive in that storm, in that place, in that season that all hell's breaking loose, so to speak, and nothing seems to be, making sense, and it's struggle after struggle, and it's a challenge after challenge, and, it could be even tragedy after tragedy. It's like, when is it going to let up? But as you said earlier, and I want to remind the viewers again today, that this too shall pass. Every storm has an expiration date. You look at any hurricane, any kind of tropical disturbance. Surfers love tropical disturbances and hurricanes because that's where we get a lot of swell. But we know this, it's a window. It's a quick window where the winds are going to turn favorable offshore, and we need to be in the water because we're going to get the back of the storm, and most of that time is going to be favorable for us. But in the middle of that storm, it's not. That's not the time to go surfing. It's not the time to get out there in the waters. And so, for you today, maybe you're at the end of your season, and you can begin to rejoice knowing that there is a fresh season coming in. There's some new things happening, and God is not done. Well, Travis, I appreciate you being here with me today, and finally got this thing kicked off, and
Yeah.
I'm excited. Maybe I'll have you next week if you'll let me have you, and if you guys out there would just like and share. We want to get this out, and we just think that our conversations and other conversations that we have could be a help to somebody. So God bless you. Thank you for tuning in to the Made Free Life podcast.
God bless.
Peace.